So hi, this with me is Mr. Kunwarjit. He's the director of enterprise solutions in Satra. So he's a proud alumni of Christ who's completed his MBA program and graduated in the year 2012. Welcome, so welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
Very well. Thank you for having me. I think it feels nice to be back here. It's been little more than 11 years that I have graduated. Uh, I feel nostalgic and also very happy to interact with the students and the bright minds here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for that introduction. And also, I just wanted to ask you one thing, sir. Well, when did you start or actually feel like marketing was your calling? And when did you plan getting into marketing?
I think it was a little bit of an accident and a little bit of a conscious choice. Um, Accident because quite honestly, when I started my MBA, I was not one of those who really knew what my calling in life is. And I think it is to some extent okay not to have a calling very early in your MBA life. But as you progress, you kind of try and see where your strengths lie. And you do a lot of interaction with faculties and industry and all the guest lecturers who are coming in, and that's when I realized that, okay, there are certain things that I feel I can enjoy and continue to do for the rest of my life. And one of which was to, talk about the vision of the company, interacting with a lot more new people outside, get their views on. And I typically have been a little extrovert in my approach. So, uh, a little bit of inner calling from that side. And then, of course, I think a great amount of, uh, you know, uh, advice came in from the professors at that time who really thought that I was meant to do this work. And I thank them because I feel I have taken the right choice after 10, 11 years of being in the industry. So, yeah, looking back, I think uh, a little bit of understanding about oneself, which happened over a period of time, and a lot of advice from senior folks, industry experts kind of shaped like.
So the one really intuitive thing about your profile is that you worked in almost all kinds of domains, right? Your experience is actually spread across a lot of domains and industries, and I mean, a lot of industries. And I was just trying to figure out how did this happen? Like when you started off with Nokia, when you shifted out to another company, did you actually think or plan to go to a different industry or like?
I think I have not been one very good at planning my career. Let's be very honest about that. So I started with, like you said, Nokia HCL, that partnership, and I happened to work there for about a year and a half, and I was quite enjoying my role. And that is when there was an opportunity at Tally, which is the market leader in software right now. So that opportunity came my way because someone at Nokia and HCL had moved from that road to Delhi, and he thought I could add value as a professional there. So he kind of extended an offer to me, and I thought it makes sense because at that time, much like the AI is a talking point now, software at that point in time and B2B and SaaS solutions were the talking point, and I wanted to ride that wave. So again, I landed up there. I worked for 5 years with Delhi and had a great time. Launched GST in India. I mean, not like GST ready Tally in India.
Right.
And Tally being the market leader, it was if played a significant role in this regime shift. So I was the go-to-market strategy guy at that point in time. So I had the opportunity of taking it to the market. So I had a great time. Suddenly got excited with the fintech wave. The UPI came in. Uh, People were using a lot of digital payments, and I thought, wow, this is really something good. And at Tally, I had the exposure of working with the likes of Pine Labs, Razor Bay. At those days, they were starting off, and that's when I got an opportunity to work with Pine. I spent some time with Pine, and so never really planned any career move much in advance. It's just that things have happened one after the other, and here I am in space tech now. And looking back 12 years, if anyone would have asked me, will you be there in a company which manufactures, design, builds satellites, and then does geospatial analytics to build data products, I would have not really planned it this way, but it so turns out to be, and I don't regret it. It's been a great journey.
All right. Do you mind me asking how did this happen, sir? This transition to Satshur, like how did that actually happen? How did that opportunity present itself to you?
I was working in the geospatial consulting domain for quite some time, and the space industry in India is opening up. So you would have seen a lot of regulations about commercial satellites going out. Earlier, ISRO was the only large research organization who was working, but now private sector has really picked up the likes of Pixel, Satchel, Miniwa. So what really got me excited was the ability to work for a company which has a upstream and downstream capability, which means suddenly talking about you're suddenly talking about data analytics, data processing, satellite image, geospatial, uh, AI algorithms, and you're also building your own hardware in satellite. So that got me really excited, and we ended up having a chat with Satchel, and things transpired, and yeah, here I am. I mean, we are doing some great and very interesting stuff at Satchel. Once that goes live, I think most of the decision intelligence domain with actionable data is going to be available to people, and will impact to multiple industries in more than one ways.
I think that's a great fact. And something that I also wanted to know is you have a great profile, right? If someone of my stature or any normal MBA that would want to start off, what do you think in the current situation of the industry and markets? What do you think would be a good start? What would you think would be a desirable start for someone?
I think uh, for anyone who's starting post MBA, what is important is you choose the right kind of industry and right kind of job profile. Usually and typically what happens is young students typically ends up taking the highest offered CTC in the campus, which may not be the right thing to do when you look at a career span. I always mention that career is like a marathon. It is it is spread over 42 kilometers or 42 years. And therefore, the one who are successful in this wins the marathon is not somebody uh, who is running the fastest lap in the beginning, right? But the one who runs the fastest lap towards the end is the one who really makes it, because it's a pyramid structure, right? As you move up on the career, your the number of roles, and that is when your game should be really high. So I think one should look at the larger perspective of the career. That's my sincere suggestion or advice to everybody graduating. Don't look at early wins, don't look at small wins. Look at choosing the right industry, the right company with right fundamentals. You should be able to believe in what that company believes in. Your values should align. And even if that means compromising on some of the CTC that you would get, it is fine, because in a larger course of time, you would actually end up making a lot more on earning a lot more than being in an environment where you are not met for.
So longevity is the game plan. You're that should.
Absolutely. I think one should have a very larger perspective on career. It's not the shortest path. And that is where I think a lot of counseling, talking to industry experts, talking to professors will help in identifying areas which are basically aligned to your skill sets, your understanding, and your domain, rather than just taking the earliest company or the company with the highest CTC coming under the because that may not be the right way of starting the journey. And once you get started, I think the two essential thing is, one is to keep learning, because the business landscape is changing. So one needs to really invest in learning. I strongly recommend my team and folks to spend 5 to 10% of their annual CTC or some amount of money from their annual CTC, whatever they can, to kind of reinvest in learning for themselves. And the second is to keep the hunger on. I think these are the two things once you select the right choice.
So I think that's right, the facer. And talking about the fast pace going on, when you talk about the situation right now, I think the businesses are transitioned to a model of quick commerce lately, right? And sales is changing completely. the interactions that people have with another person while the process of a sale is happening, it's getting a lot lesser than compared to before. I think it is quite limited to a lot of different kinds or niche kinds of products, and I think that is the trend towards the future. What do you think your take is on in regards to the quick commerce coming in and disrupting the sales market?
I mean, I don't need to tell you, numbers tell you that quick commerce is the fastest growing commerce business in India. There are three large players who are dominating the space, and truth be told, it is convenient and it has a value prop, and that makes me believe that this will grow further. It's not only about making me believe. I mean, the numbers talk for themselves, right? Massive scaling is what is going to happen. What that what that kind of brings into the sales or a life of a or life of someone who is aspiring a career in business or sales is, I feel a lot of these consumer product sales are going to be led through product. Right. Right. I don't see there will, I mean, some in due course of time in future, there will be a time when product will be expected to sell by itself.
Exactly. The features of the product is going to determine the sales of the product.
The feature or just the product in itself. Like, for example, Google Maps. Nobody comes and sells us Google Maps. It's just that, and neither it is the feature. It is just that the ease, the compliance, the UI, the UX, everything about it, right? So I just feel that there will come a time in the technology products or in any physical product domain also, and it will be expected to sell on its own, right? Like the quality should be able to drive it, the packaging should be able to drive it, the word on mouth should be drive it. Therefore, I feel that on the consumer space, with the advent of quick commerce, e-commerce, zero questions asked return policy, etc., very soon, I feel that there will be certain amount of shrinkage in roles for sales professionals. That's not, I was my second question. Not sales leaders. Sales leaders will continue to be here, but no. The frontline sales or the feet on street aspect of it may be impacted. However, I see a significant amount of opportunity growing on the other side, which is on complex sales scenarios, which is consultative by nature, which is enterprise sales driven, and that is not going to change anytime soon. So I believe there will be very very high paid jobs in consultative selling, uh, in knowledge selling, and that is going to continue for significant amount of time, and there is enough and more opportunity come up it. So anyone wants to design or take the career to that path, I would say that the lateral is a better option than the first. Uh, so it's where I
And considering that you are in industry for quite some time and you have trade expertise, I just wanted to also know your perspective. What do you think is the next new thing? What is booming in the space of marketing, or in terms of potential being there for a salesperson to actually get it to that domain? What do you think is actually booming?
I think two three industries are doing very well today. I think EVs are doing very well. So and I think EVs will continue to do well. Uh, though it is early days, but in general, I feel EVs is an exciting space to be in. So if you are able to kind of work on any good, fundamentally good EV company with good product, I think that's a good industry to kind of look at. The other industry that I feel is doing quite well is basically on the AI piece. Basically, you can go vertical or you can go horizontal. I feel that there is considerable amount of work which is going on the horizontal and on the vertical side of AI. One can explore that, but the competencies would be largely around data science, modeling, AI, ML modeling, neural networks, etc. Though that is also an exciting space to be in. And of course, I mean, when you talk about B2B sales scenario, you cannot forget SaaS. It has been SaaS and software has been a place which India has kind of grown in several years. We are still under penetrated market when it comes to softwares. Uh, Still, a lot of monetization is yet to happen. So there will be some amount of play there as well. So these are two, three fundamentally strong industries where I think one can be invested on. EV definitely, SaaS businesses, and AI. But again, it has to align with the values and fundamentals of this company should be fit.
Right. So the last question that I'm gonna ask to Falavachibo is so when you're talking about India, India as a country is actually disrupted a lot in many ways when it comes to the world standpoint of view. How do you view India as a changing factor? Because a lot of hype has been created in terms of consumerism, buying power increasing in the country, and all these aspects. How do you think this is going to affect the space of consumption when it comes to people? Like, do you think they are actually going to start buying more products and innovative ideas can actually come up?
Again, I mean, numbers are to speak for themselves. I mean, you look at where we are today. Uh, so consumption has been low in India, especially public consumption has been low in the last couple of quarters. The GDP has been low, right? Yeah. Um, and the macros up until the last quarter was not looking great, but we are still the fastest growing economy in the world. Uh, it's only a matter of time when we'll be the third largest economy globally. Yeah, we have the highest number of people who are in the working age. Um, I fundamentally don't think that the economy or India as a perspective is going through any kind of stress. Whatever little is there, with all the support that our honorable finance minister has given during our budget for tax relief, etc., it should boost our consumption and the GDP over a period of time. So what I definitely feel is in the next 2 to 3 quarters, a lot of our corporate earnings will increase. A lot of impact on job creation will happen. A lot of new tier 2, tier 3 cities will grow, especially with infrastructure spending. And I feel that this entire ecosystem will go through a boost. Uh, from India perspective, I think we are in a very good space. Right, our policies have been largely around growth. The government is very bullish about growth. Uh, we are well poised to become the third largest economy, like I said, and I think we are at the right time and the right place as far as the country is concerned. If we get our fundamentals right, choose the right industry, right company, right careers for ourselves, our growth trajectory could be faster than anybody else in this in the world.
Completely agree to that. I complete.
So we are very well placed here.
All right, sir. I would like to end our podcast on this note. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Thank you, Pushpa. Thank you so much.